It's a
Button.
work on it.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you there, Lonnie. I just wanted to make sure you knew that was coming.
That's okay. And
Um,
I just, I do know I need to work on that, but the only way to do that is what I've been doing lately. And that's just what you've been teaching lately is to just stand and just stand firm and just, there's certain times when you're just not going to get your point across. People are not going to take it. They can't take corrective criticism coming from you. They can't take the fact that you're not happy with them for some reason, so on and so forth, no matter how legitimate it is. And you say your piece and you say it in a peaceful way. And if it doesn't come across, then you just pray about it. That's
I,
where I'm at now.
I will tell you, and this is something that yeah, I touched a little bit on it in the book, but not very much at all. And it's so funny, guys. I have been studying this morning and looking up Greek words and doing some cross-reference studies, and I'm like, I wish I would have seen that before I wrote the book. But God kind of got on me and he
Right,
said, if I call you to write another book, you'll have the material. It's kind of
right,
one of
yeah.
those stop worrying about it. If I want it out there, I'll get you to do it. Don't worry. So I had to back off. Okay. But I will tell you, here's the one thing I really need to teach couples, especially in conflict. And I have one couple I work with that's after you guys. They call it the hot potato system. But what it is where when there's a conflict, you grab a pillow and you set a timer. Throw the pillow to Lonnie, you get 3 minutes to say your piece. And in that 3 minutes, Jamie's not allowed to say a single word. And when that timer goes off, that pillow goes to Jamie and she gets her 3 minutes. Until that timer's up, Lonnie doesn't say a word. The reason that sounds so corny is because it is. However, productively, it works because you don't interrupt the other person. They are made to listen and try to understand where you're coming from. My If you want to fire me up from 0 to 100 in a millisecond, constantly interrupt me when I'm trying to teach something. That is what does it. Not the reaction, not the tone of voice. It's the constant, that type of, you can't say anything because you just keep getting boom, 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 boom. That is where my temperature
That,
gauge.
yeah, that I'm talking.
Do
Yeah,
what?
I'm the same exact way.
Yeah.
I'm the same way when I'm talking to my wife or my family about something that they know good and well in their heart that it's not, what I'm saying is true. And I get, yeah, well, yeah,
Uh-huh.
every 2 seconds when one word comes out of my mouth or a half a sentence, they're jumping on it and coming up with something that I know is either an excuse or it's a justification or whatever.
Yeah.
My fuse just literally the wick, it just goes away.
Yeah.
And I have no, I lose it.
And I'm
And I
guilty of
and
it
and
too.
I know I have to work on that. I know I need to fix that.
Yep.
But there is still something to be said for when you know good and well you're in the wrong. There is, and I'm speaking truth and I'm not being mean to you. And I'm not, if it hurts you that bad, then why do you keep doing it to the point where you have to hear that? Why do you just know good and well that that's going to upset me? You know that it's not right. Why are you going to keep doing it so that when I speak to you, you devise all kinds of ways to say, well, I don't like these types of words and I don't like definitives and I don't like this and I don't like that and I don't want you saying this no more. And when you say that, this makes me feel this way, and so on and so forth. Now we're not having a conversation no more. What we're having is a fixed way to try to teach the person who's telling you that it's not right and it's treading on them to find some other way to say it. Well, after a while, the English language runs out of words.
Yeah, there's
And
only a
you don't
million.
understand Spanish enough for me to speak Spanish to you. And you certainly don't know Chinese, so I can't speak that. And Russian is way off the mark. So you leave me with no options but to just go, it is what it is.
Yeah, well, and I want to say one thing. You can get, you people in general, not Lonnie, but you people in general. There. our times harshness has to take place. There are times for it. We see Jesus do it, and he's a man without sin. Now, here's the slippery slope with it. One of the fruits of the spirit, self-control. Can you be, because I have a big voice. I can talk normal and people can hear me at a long distance because my voice carries. You get me upset and I raise my voice, even if I'm not yelling at you, it's way louder. I think that's one reason grandkids and my own kids behave so well, because of my voice. It's an authoritative thing. Getting stern and getting loud, as long as you're in control of it, I think that's the key. And this is just coming to me right now. I've never thought about it like this until just now. Now, screaming and yelling and calling names and just losing control, that's overboard for sure. But getting loud as a man's voice, especially, and being stern to say this is the way it's going to be, and that's it. And I do that with the grandkids, and they want to carry on a discussion. You know how that is. And I don't play that game. I'm like, I think I told you guys when I brought all the grandkids together and I said, here are the rules. I start talking, one starts talking over me. And he wasn't being rude. He was just talking over me. And I went, zip it. I don't need your help. Exactly what I said.
Right.
And all 6 or 5 of them listened to every word I said. And they went out and they had a great time. But look, I'm not asking you for your opinion. I'm not asking you to discuss, debate, and what's the other word? Rationalize with me. I'm the authority figure in this home, and you're going to do what I say. We don't get to negotiate. When you have your own home, you get to have those same rules when you get to pay all the bills and you get to run the household. So that's kind of my very matter of fact attitude toward it.
Yeah, and it's so ironic that you're talking about this right now, because I'm not sure if you knew Hayden is in the car with us and he's riding with us right now because he can't be trusted to be left home to do the right thing.
Well, I explained to Hayden, and he'll sit there and tell you the truth. I said, you can only control what you can control. And if you do not make good decisions, then you really can't complain because you're not trusted.
Right.
That's like me getting mad at the police officer for writing me a speeding ticket when I was doing 80 and a 55.
I've used that analogy myself.
Well, stop copying me. Get your own material.
Well, when I'm looking in your windows, I can't help it. I hear everything you say.
I did see 2 round looking things in my window last night. That was you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If I'd have known that, I invited you in.
Yeah. That was my head and my body.
But
yeah, I mean, right now, I do not. The biggest thing I want to say, and it's not just because you're on the phone. Jamie said it earlier. I want my kids to have an enjoyable life.
Yep.
But if they can't realize that my life is completely unenjoyable because I'm constantly paying for every single thing they do somehow, some way. And
not monetarily, he's talking
right,
about.
I'm
I got
talking
it.
about
Yeah.
with time, with spending time with my wife, with enjoying time with them. I don't care what it is. I ultimately pay. And your decision making is costing me way more than I should have to bear.
Yep. And I
And
will.
if you don't get that, then I have to be the bad guy. And I don't want to be. That's my whole point. I do not want to take away privileges. I do not want.
No
Right
parent
now,
does.
I made it clear and concise. This is the first time ever I'm selling every single electronic that he has, getting my money back, and the money that he has put in, invested in his, because he can't self-govern himself. And when he's grounded, or when he's on this thing where he has to earn his privileges back, he wants to do what he wants to do, then that money will go towards his school clothes for this upcoming year. Because what he focuses on and what he puts his mind to only is exactly what I'm trying to regulate and he does it behind our backs. I caught him today, and he literally gave me this whole, I don't know what you're talking about type attitude. When I'm looking at you right now with a controller that belongs to a system that doesn't belong to you.
Well, let me say this. I'm going to say this to you as a family, as a minor in the family, and to the parents, all of you. This goes for everything. And I touched on it when I asked Jamie this question on Monday night in front of everybody. It is amazing. And this was kind of sparked by you talking about not wanting to hand out punishment. No parent desires in their right mind to constantly have to be on kids and have to constantly correct, because I would rather, as a parent, be having fun with them, playing games together, going bowling, sitting and talking, watching TV together, whatever, than why did you just do what I told you not to? That type of thing. It's exhausting. But here's the deal. Okay. Just like in a church, just like in a home, just like in a business, just like on a sports team, just like in a college, the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on. If everybody involved would simply, and I mean it is that simple, do what they're supposed to do, fill the role they are supposed to fill, not somebody else's, their role. I asked Jamie that question. When you're doing everybody else's job that they can do, whose role are you not doing? And her exact answer was the perfect answer, mine. If everybody would do their job, wouldn't this world be a lot smoother? If dads would be
Amen.
dads, if moms would be moms, if uncles would be uncles in a dad role, because that's the position you're in right now. If Hayden back there in that back seat with tire marks on your hands, do
Your job.
follow your role. And life is a lot smoother. I just talked to Jamie about this before you guys got in the car. We are so busy doing we just got to get out of our own way. And for whatever reason, whatever we're told not to do, we want to do it. And there's not a good consequence off of a bad decision or disobedience. It never works out. And yet we still do it the opposite way. It's just like marriage. I teach it. You're going to get it taught to you again in a few weeks. We date. We do anything in the world. We love them. We care for them. We talk to 2 or 3 in the morning. You hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. And then you get married and it's like, get away from me. I don't want to be around you today. And the Bible teaches us to be opposite of that. And it is mind-blowing to me. If it's your job to go to work and drive a truck and deliver your packages and get the next load and bring it back to the terminal, you don't go to work, jump on a computer and start assigning drivers their routes. That would be stupid because it's not your job. And if you do that, you've got a completely screwed up company that's completely out of order. Hayden, if it's your job to do the dishes and you don't, we have issues in the house. But if you do those dishes like you're asked to, it's amazing that demeanor change and the atmosphere change in that home. And if Jamie's job is to be a hairdresser, she goes to try to be a mechanic on a car, it's not going to work. Okay, got me all fired up. Thanks, Lonnie. It is that simple. It is that simple.
Yep, it is.
But we make
it is that simple.
We make life so hard on ourselves.
And then it's the funniest thing, kind of like you were saying with the marriage thing. At first, you know, you want to do all the things that we're supposed to do when we're married. Then we're married, we don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're a kid, you want to do all the things you're supposed to do when you're grown up. And then when
Mhm.
you're grown up, you don't want to do it anymore. You're like,
All of a
oh, well, this
sudden life
actually,
hits.
yeah, exactly. You're like, actually, this really sucks. I don't want to adult. This adulting thing is for the birds, man. I don't want to do this.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's so funny, isn't it? It's like we're always chasing what we aren't in right now. We don't want to live in the now. We're obsessed with the fact that we feel like things were better in the past somehow,
Mm-hmm.
or we're thinking about our future. And when we think about right now, we're resentful of the people around us that we're in the situation that we're in, don't want to take any accountability or responsibility at all for what we've done to be in the situations that we're in,
Yep.
and
Yep.
just want to blame everybody else. And we just get stuck in these cycles.
Yeah. Yep.
Over and over and over.
Yep. And
I was
here's
talking to Hayden a little while ago. I told him, buddy, you got to really look at this and understand that we don't want to have to do these things. But how many chances and how many times have we been, very understanding and lenient, and not lenient, I wouldn't even say, but just compassionate and understanding about his position, not
right.
completely selling or taking his stuff away from him for a long period of time. And, to just have to keep going through the same things again and again, at some point, we would be not doing the right thing for you as parents if we just were like,
That's
okay, we give
exactly
up.
right.
We have to do it.
You,
We have to.
you discipline because you love. If you didn't care about Hayden, you wouldn't do it. You just let him get away with everything because you just have other things to do. And that's not loving
Exactly.
a kid. That's not what love
No,
is.
it's not loving. It's not caring. It's not, it's literally just showing them that you don't care. Well, we do care. So
Yep. And young people don't quite grasp that concept because they're not in that role yet. They'll get it eventually.
oh yeah, we've talked
But
about that all the time, Hayden and I. Yep.
yep. Well, here's the other thing, and I want everybody to think about this. If everybody handles themselves appropriately, I've already said it once, the atmosphere in the home completely changes. Your environment changes. And it's, what was that we taught on Monday night? Oh yeah, peaceful.
Peaceful, yes. And it's because we have order.
That's right. Order brings peace. And if everybody does, I promise you, well, I'm not going to promise, but I guarantee you, if all three of you, and then throw Tristan in there as well, would just get up and be disciplined, do your job or your role, your chores, your literal jobs, Jamie and Lonnie, whatever. If everybody would just do that, gosh, something that simple makes such a big difference. I was reading, I want you guys to listen to this. I was reading about the mustard seed yesterday because I'm writing another book, and I think I'm going to call it The Parables of Marriage, where I take the parables and do marriage devotionals off of it. And I was reading about the mustard seed. Now, Hayden, this is a good one for you to hear, buddy. I promise you it will make a difference. And if it doesn't, you let me know and I'll have a chat with Lonnie and Jamie myself. I'm intimidating. I scare them because my 5'9" white boy frame is intimidating. My 150 pounds worth. That's why Lonnie wouldn't come in last night. He was only looking in the window. So I was reading about the mustard seed last night. It's the smallest seed there is, but it's not a hollow seed like some are. You can't just break it. But listen to this. Little things matter, because when that seed is planted, step number one, you got to plant it in solid soil or good soil. And the environment around it is ideal. That little bitty seed alone can grow into a bush that's between, get this, 10 to 15 feet high. Years before Jesus said that parable about the mustard seed, do you know mustard was used as healing ointment? Think about it. A little bit of this and a little bit of that used in the right way brings healing, and it develops into something bigger for the good. But on the flip side, those little things you don't do properly, the little snide remarks toward spouses, toward kids, kids towards parents, it's gonna develop into a much bigger problem. It's that little bitty seed that you're planting. It's what you do with that seed when you plant it that makes the difference. Did you plant it in good soil or did you plant it in bad soil? Either way, you're going to get a large amount of something in return. Did that make sense?
That makes sense. Hayden?
Everybody get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. And the other thing is what I talked to Hayden about. I miss chatting with Hayden. I like that dude. You cannot control other people. You can help control other people by doing the right things. As an example, Jamal doesn't get mad when she asks for something to be done and it gets done. That is how you operate. But you can't control other people. All you can truly control is yourself and how you react to certain things. Bad reactions get you bad consequences. And doing the right thing will get you good consequences. It doesn't always work like that, but 99% of the time it probably does. All I know, listen, if my wife caught me out talking to another woman because I didn't think it through, what's my consequence going to be? A frying pan upside the head. Either that or she's going to go ask the lady and beg her to take me. I don't know which one it will be, but one way or another, something's going to happen. So just a little thing. I guess that's where God, why he created me like he did. Simple mind, the simplest of things. So there you go. Why am I doing all the talking today? That's not good.
Say something, Hayden Joseph.
Oh, what do I say?
What do I say? He says.
Well, what do you think, Hayden? Tell me what you think about all that stuff I just rambled about. I haven't got to talk to you in a while.
Uh, um, um, it was,
It was what?
I don't really.
I'm not letting you off the hook on this one. You're gonna have to say it out loud, dude.
Bring it, baby. Bring it.
I don't really like. I don't really like remember what you said.
Well, I
Or
appreciate
was-
that. You sound just like my wife. Have you met her?
Mm,
Oh, yeah.
Dude, come on, man. Come on. How old are you now? 14?
yeah.
Hold this.
Yeah. You're 4 years from being a full-blown adult. Come on, man.
Yeah.
It's time to start
That's better.
manning up. Time to start pulling up the big boy pants and starting to kind of stick your chest out, not in a prideful ego way, but like, I'm going to be a real man soon. According to the laws of the land. And you, boy, you better take advantage of what you have for the next 3.5, 4 years before you do turn into an adult. You think it gets easier?
No, it does not.
Get to pay bills and go to work, and adulting is not an easy thing.
So much better if bills weren't real.
Just don't get so many cars,
Do what now?
or just live in an apartment.
Oh yeah, that's easy. You don't have to pay very many bills there, do you? What are you gonna do at 2 in the morning when the baby upstairs is crying and the guy underneath of you is playing his music at about 80 decibel levels?
Get like the top level.
Uh-huh. You know you don't get to choose that, right?
No, we don't.
They tell you
tell
what's
you
available, and that's it.
you might get an option of that one or that one. So what would be the key there? You get told what apartment you move into, and then you have to be content with it and learn how to be thankful for it instead of complain about it. That's life. That's the way life is in general. Because I promise you, buddy, especially when you get out into the adult world, you don't think life is fair now, you haven't seen anything yet.
Yep, so true.
And if there's one thing I cannot stand, you can ask Tanya. She doesn't do this to me anymore. But she would talk about a certain situation and she would say, well, that's not fair. That was like taking a match and throwing it into an entire barrel of gasoline for me. And I can't stand that phrase. It's not fair. Do you want fair? Do you really want fair? I don't think you do. I'm talking about in general. Especially when people talk about God. Do you really want God to be fair with you? Anybody in their right mind is going to say, no, no, no. And that just, that's why I try to use the stuff I've been through as an example. Not fair. Is it fair that I've been cheated on, abandoned, and had a wife die on me? Is it fair that I've lost vision? Is all of that fair? I don't know. I don't care. I don't think about it. It happened. So I just choose how I respond to it. That's in my power. I get to choose how I respond to it.
Yep, I'm gonna have him read your book now, John, that he has, he's got a lot of time on his hands, so.
Yeah. Yeah. So Hayden, I'm going to give you the same challenge I gave Jamal in a different way though. You ready?
Yeah.
Before you make a decision, ask yourself a question. Is this going to get me in trouble? Or is this not going to get me in trouble? It is that simple, buddy. It is that simple. If the answer is, yeah, this would get me in trouble, then don't do it. And if it's not going to get you in trouble, have a blast.
Yeah, this morning, John, when he decided to do what he was doing, I asked him, I said, was there a thought in your mind, buddy? Hey, maybe I shouldn't do this. And he was like, yeah, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's your challenge, Hayden. See, Hayden, the thing that you're not grasping, I think, is a lot of us believe in you. I think you're an intelligent young man that sometimes lacks making the best decisions. And I would like to see your decision making reach the level of how smart you are. You'll find that your life seems to smooth out a little bit and goes a little bit better for you. Doesn't mean things won't happen, but it will go better for you. You might not have to go out and carry a bunch of tires, but you know what? In reality, you should do that anyway and help out. Because you're still breathing. Have you picked up the tires yet, Hayden?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're still breathing. So it didn't kill you. Cool. Here's a challenge for you, Hayden. How about going dust the living room at Lonnie and Jamal's house and do it with your eyes closed?
Can't
Why not?
see the dust.
Okay, I do it. I can make excuses that I can't see and get away with it.
Well, do you know that it's clean afterwards?
Nope. I do my best. I have put pictures back on the shelves that my wife has had to walk over and turn them the right side up because I was standing on my head in the picture. But you know what? She didn't get mad at me. She was appreciative that I helped and she just went and fixed it for me. My point wasn't
Yep.
really for you to go do that. My point was we all can make excuses.
And when we see an effort, people are treated much more gracefully, buddy. When
That's right.
when we that you're trying, like John doing the dusting, his wife Tanya is just so thankful that he's trying to help out around the house. It doesn't matter if he doesn't get it all, or he misses a little bit, or he puts the pictures upside down. She's just so appreciative that he's taken the time to put in effort to make, things around the house a little bit easier for her, and he's pitching in. So there's so many things that you would find out, especially with Uncle Lonnie, that he can be so loving and graceful, but if you just give him a little bit of effort, a little bit, he's been begging you for years to just try to have a friendly conversation with him, just include him. He got upset with you about yesterday because, John, long story short, Hayden got in trouble yesterday, wasn't allowed to play games or anything, and Lonnie said, well, I know you're going to your mom's in a little bit. Do you want to watch an episode of this show with me so that you don't have to just sit there and do nothing? Hayden said, okay, that sounds good. So Lonnie was trying to be nice and just let him know, like, hey, I still love you. I still want you to have a good time. But then Hayden said, I'm going to go get my stuff ready for my mom. So Lonnie had his show paused for literally over 30 minutes. And he was like, Hayden, are you coming? And he's like, well, I just figured my mom will be here soon anyway, so I'm not going to watch it with you. And that really hurt Lonnie's feelings. Like, you didn't even tell me. I'm sitting here waiting for you. And it was just like the no communication is just rude to Lonnie. He just feels like, and that's really hard between them. Things like that happen all the time where Lonnie just feels like he doesn't take that little bit of time to say, hey, Uncle Lon, I'm going to run and do this right now. Or do you think we have enough time to watch the show? Or I may not be able to watch a full episode with you because my mom will be here soon, but I'm going to hurry up and do this and I'll be right back. Like, there's just no communication. It's just very much like he just is sort of flippant with Lonnie and just is like, I would rather talk to him as little as possible kind of thing is how it comes off.
Okay, so let me
And we're
jump in
trying
here.
to get him to work on that.
Yeah, let me jump in here. Hayden, what would have been the
Yeah.
appropriate way to handle that situation? Don't tell me I don't know. What's the appropriate way to handle it?
Um, I probably should have told him about it earlier, or not just like didn't say anything like that and wait till the end.
Okay, so now the next question is, do you think about things when you do that type of thing, how it makes the other person feel? And I'm not saying this as a condemnation type question. I'm seriously, genuinely asking, when you do things like that, do you think about, since it was Lonnie, do you think about how it made him feel when you make those types of decisions?
Kinda.
You kind of do? And so what,
Just a second.
huh?
Watch the ceiling.
Do I need to hold on? Is that what I'm hearing?
Alright, you can talk now.
Okay, all right. So you kind of think about it, but don't really put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah.
Is that accurate? Okay, that's fair. All I want you to do is be honest. Don't give me a bunch of fluff, because I hate that. We had that discussion. So what if you were sitting on that couch watching a show, and let's say Tristan was watching it with you and he said, I have to go grab something to eat really quick. And you paused your show waiting for Tristan. Then you found out he was on the phone with his girlfriend, or he took off and went to Pizza Hut and didn't tell you. How would you feel?
I feel bad.
Okay. So would you be upset with Tristan if he did that to you?
Yeah.
So the question is, what would make that okay for you to do it to others, although it make you upset if they did it to you?
It wouldn't be okay.
Okay. That's cool. So just like I said, with the simple question, that's another simple thought process. How's this going to make somebody feel? Let me tell you guys a story. I may have told Lonnie and Jamie, but I don't think I have. 2-3 years ago, I was pretty upset with my wife. And I thought, you know what? Not out of vindictiveness and not being a jerk, I thought, I'm going to do what she does to me just to let her see how it feels. I want her to know from this side of it what it feels like. Maybe that will put the message across. Now, all three of you at once, did John follow through with that or not?
No.
No,
No, I did not. Because I knew it was going to upset her. Even though at that moment, I wanted to do it because I wanted her to feel it, to put it into reality. However, when I thought about her instead of me first, I knew she would be upset and I could not do it because I put myself in that position because I've been in it. And the Bible says, do not repay evil for evil. In other words, don't do it because somebody did it to you.
Right, exactly.
Now, the other thing, and Lonnie, you can speak on this. That was a gesture from Lonnie, and that's a loving gesture, wanting to spend time with you, Hayden. And I know with your issues that you've had with your mom and all of that, I understand why you would be resistant to let somebody try to get close to you. But when you put up walls, you're not really blocking everybody out. What you're doing is you're locking yourself in. You have to remember that. That's no way to live. Listen, I've been done dirty too, but I'm not putting up walls. Well, Lonnie is
yeah,
trying.
the harder, go ahead.
Well, I'll finish it with saying Lonnie was trying to cultivate your all's relationship and you bailed on him. So that sounds like, okay, yeah, I need to do better. But now there's a lingering issue going on because that's going to put your all's relationship in a little bit more strain. Because I'm pretty sure Lonnie was a bit agitated that he sat there a lot long and you didn't show back up. This is not a bash Hayden session. I want you to understand that these two that are in the car with you love you. I know they do. Otherwise, they will let you get by with anything you wanted to. Now, Lonnie, go ahead and say what you had to say.
Well, actuality is, I wasn't perturbed with waiting for him because I knew he wanted to get his shoes on. I knew he wanted to go spend time with his mom. He hardly ever gets a chance to do that. What I was irritated with is walks past me several times, doesn't say a word, doesn't bother to say, hey, she's actually going to be here at this time. Can we get a rain check? Can we do it at another time? Can we anything? And when I said, hey, are you going to come over and watch this? Hayden, uh, Hayden responds to me like I already know what's going on in his head without him talking to me. He doesn't give me any verbal anything. I didn't know exactly what time she was coming. So he was like, well, she'll be here in like 5 minutes. And I go, oh, well, that would have been nice to know 45 minutes ago. What do you mean? Well, I paused it and waited for you. Yeah, well, that was a while ago. His responses are always like, you should already know where he's coming from and what he's got going on. And lack of conversation, I've tried to explain to him a million times, is going to lead to issues.
Yep.
Or conversation that is, I try to explain to my family and my wife because she's like, well, this and this. And I go, yeah, or she'll tell me, well, you could have said this or you could have said that. And I say, yeah, that's true. I could have. But the problem is in conversation, the way it works is there's a speaker and there's a receiver. That receiver interprets the information and responds to what is said. That's how the dictation of the conversation goes. If I say something to him and I'm not being mean, I'm not being sarcastic, I'm not cutting him down, I'm just genuinely trying to have a conversation, and his response is negative, And literally, like, he is pretending that he doesn't understand what you're talking about. And then he literally comes up with something that tries to be a closed-ended comment. My next response isn't going to be something of what Jamie thinks it should be, or let it go like what Hayden wants. Conversation goes as it flows along. And I'm literally addressing, hey, I'm not appreciative of your attitude, or I'm not appreciative of this, or appreciative of that. So, not to go too far with it, but what happened the other day was literally like, I'm trying to spend time with him because I'm trying to eliminate the times when he comes at me only when he needs something or when he wants something. And my response is, well, Hayden, I asked you the other day this or that. Well, rah, 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 rah. But he wants something. He turns around and acts like I have no love for him. I don't care for him anymore. He has a secret conversation with his aunt and says, Uncle Lonnie just hates me. He doesn't like me. He doesn't this. He doesn't that. He's eventually got to realize that, you can't just communicate with a person when you just want something. And especially when your actions are that of a person that doesn't deserve the extras. It's hard for me to literally just be like, yeah, sure, Hayden, I'll do that for you. It's not a problem. I'll give you whatever you want, this or that, whatever, when the day before or 2 days ago or the last week or the whole time I've been around him, it continues to linger that he is just going to do what he wants, talk to you however he wants, disassociate himself however he wants. I'm not going to just automatically be like, sure,
Yeah.
I'll throw you in a car, take you to the mall and spend $200 or $100 or go buy you this or go do this or go do that for you or whatever. You don't associate with me ever, never. And when you do, it's always negative.
Yeah, so I would just say this is what I said on the early portion of it, and this goes for anybody. You cannot get mad and upset and complain about consequences when you know good and well what you're doing. You just can't do it. You can't get mad at your boss for firing you when you show up 3 out of 5 days of a week on your job. That's your fault. You're the one that got yourself in trouble. Why are you mad at them?
Exactly.
And I'll ask all of you. Hayden, why are you mad at them for getting mad at you when you don't do the right thing? Jamie, why are you getting mad at Lonnie when you blow $5,000 without asking him? And I know that hasn't happened. Just the point I'm making. And Lonnie, why are you mad at Jamie for skipping work and running your family short on funds because you decided to be lazy 1 or 2 or 3 days? You can't get mad at the others for getting mad at you when you're the one that is the core of the problem, right?
Right.
And that those were wild, exaggerative examples, but the principle I hope you get. You can't get mad at the police officer when you're the one breaking the law. Their job is to enforce the law, not let you break it.
Right.
It's really that simple. It truly is that simple. I can't get mad at Tanya if we get a foreclosure letter on our house when I'm the one responsible for handling the finances and I'm not making our house payment.
Right.
I can't get mad at her for that. Well, don't get mad at me. I've been busy. Yeah, excuses. You've been irresponsible. Busy and irresponsible are 2 different things.
But the bottom of the line is what needs to be addressed and what Hayden needs to realize the most. That's part of it, that you can't be upset at somebody else for what you've done. But the other part of it is the sheer ignorance of where you fit in the equation, where everything is, yeah, well, I didn't this or that, or I didn't remember that, or I didn't know, so you can't hold that against me. Or why do you keep talking about old stuff? That was a long time ago. Actually, I'm talking to you about it because it's relevant and it happened today.
Yeah,
5 minutes ago.
repeat
I
offender.
don't care how long ago it happened. It happened right now. And it happened last week and the week before and 6 months before. I didn't go through all of that. You're bringing up the fact that, yeah, I did it in the past, but what's your big deal? The denial. Let me just put it short. Hayden suffers from denial, hardcore. Nothing you say is correct. Yeah,
Well,
nothing you say that he has just done 5 minutes ago is relevant. It's because a week went by and he hadn't done it. So therefore, I don't know why you're saying anything to me. And he's bold enough to tell me flat out to your face. I don't know why you're wasting your time telling me this because this or this.
Well-
The sheer lack of respect,
mhm.
period, is at an all-time high. And
Yeah.
it's not because he's a teen. Hayden has been that way forever.
Yeah, so Hayden, how, how do you respond to that? Tell me how you're feeling right now and what he said.
How do you feel about the fact that Uncle Lonnie feels extremely disrespected by your responses, honey, and like you're really only thinking about yourself in those instances? He feels sorry, he says.
Do you really feel sorry, or is that just something that you think's gonna pass me off to the next topic? What'd he
So
say?
he does feel sorry.
Okay, well then, if you truly feel sorry, what's the next step?
Yeah, not the first step, but is to apologize, and the second step is what, but
Come on, Hayden, you're a smart kid. I'm not gonna let you get away with it. I know you're a smart kid. I've talked to you. I got you, dude. I'm on your side, by the way, as well as Lonnie and Jamie's side. I'm on everybody's side here. So tell me, what's the next step? You've apologized or you say you're sorry. So what's the next step?
talk loud. He said start changing his behavior. Do you need to run in and go pee real quick here?
What did he say? I couldn't hear the response.
He said to start changing his behavior.
Ha! We have a winner. I told you he was smart.
Zach,
That's exactly the answer. To the T is the answer. Everybody's still there. I think I lost everybody.
Messages. 22 minutes ago. Vinny Richards. Hey John, how much luggage are you going to have when you get off of the ship? We need to figure out which crew we are going to bring.
Why you hanging up on me, yo?
Yo, dude, I had to go make myself a sandwich.
You better have them pickle onion.
I had to make a sandwich, man. I'm getting hungry.
I hear
Or I
you,
think
bro.
I should say it, hungry.
Hungry. I am hungry. You must have some black folks down there around you.
No, I just watched the Jeffersons.
But that'll work.
My dad is the absolute whitest George Jefferson on the planet. He walks like him,
Re-
has the attitude like him. I swear it's my
That's
dad
the,
made over.
that's so funny because if you met my dad, he's George Jefferson all the way.
That's great.
Looks like him, acts like him, walks like him, talks like him.
So
Yep.
true.
So do we still have Hayden with us?
Oh yeah, we do.
I thought
He-
maybe he
he-
hung up the phone on me. I was just making sure.
No, he probably wouldn't want to be in here, but he is.
Well, that's all right. I just trying to simplify everything. It's really that simple. We just make it too difficult. That's our theme for the day. Simplify life. Don't do what you're not supposed to do and do what you're supposed to. Problem solved. Respect restored.
It really is that simple too. And I actually just started implementing some new, like goals, motivations at work with our staff, and I'm thinking about using those kinds of examples at home too. Instead of just saying like, hey, our monthly goals for sales of these specific products is this much. Why don't we break it down by day? What does that look like every day?
Mhm.
What can you do to be successful every day when we wake up each morning? And that's even biblical. I mean, God says we start anew every day. We have an opportunity every day to reach out to him, to do what we are supposed to do.
Mhm.
It's a fresh start on the daily. And I want that to be the case too, which is kind of why I went through the whole self-government thing and started implementing those new ways of disciplining. Go ahead. With it being like, all right, so our new way of disciplining was that, and we've been doing it for quite a while now, and on certain things with Tristan, it really, really works. With Hayden, he loves it. He really likes it, but his behavior isn't really changing, right? Like, we stay here. We just realized that Hayden smoked marijuana again the last couple of weeks upstairs in
Try to lie to me again.
Right, he tried to hide it. And when I was going to test him, he fessed up on it and said, you don't need to test me basically because I'm not gonna pass. And in the past, probably year that we've been implementing the self-government program with him, what we would do is he would earn a major maintenance for that, which would mean from the time he wakes up in the morning till the time he goes to bed at night, he's got to do basically like something that's laborious, whether it be stacking wood all day and he gets a break for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? And that's it. He doesn't get to play games. He doesn't get to do anything fun. It's just hard work all day. But now Hayden is to the point where he knows that's what his consequence is going to be, and he'll just accept that. He doesn't mind doing the hard work. So he'll just be like, all right, well, if I, smoke with my friends on the balcony at Uncle Bobby's apartment, I'm just going to have to work hard tomorrow for it. Right. So it's like, what do you do in that case when we're trying to give you the opportunity to start fresh every day? We're trying to get you to learn these lessons, but instead now you're manipulating the new system. We don't want to go back to the old system where we felt like all he was grounded for 6 months at a time, because what we used to do is we would give him, a consequence and tell him, you know what, Hayden, if after a week we see that you're really changing in tune, you can get your stuff back. Or if you don't do the same thing again this week and say you remembered to take the dogs outside all week and that was the thing that you got in trouble for, great. You get all your stuff back, no big deal. Well, this boy would have 1 week, we would tell him, and he could not do that week after week after week after week to where he's grounded from everything for 3-4 months. And we're like, okay, this isn't working. So John, I mean, what are your suggestions? We literally, we don't know what else to do to
I know
help him
what to
be
do.
successful. Other than, Lonnie's solution now is just take everything away from him until we see a real change, and not just for a day. It's got to be some sort of significant time frame. But Hayden's counselors say that long-term consequences like that, all they do is start accepting that this is just my life. They don't feel like they have any way to change it, and they don't feel that they're not learning how to govern themselves in that way, because it just becomes their new normal. And they just accept that that's what they have to do now. And then they'll start rebelling and doing what they want to do behind the scenes, sneaking around, etc., because it's just too strict. But what do you do if nothing you do works?
What did the counselor say as an alternative then?
The counselors feel that first of all,
That what? You broke up.
Hayden's got sorry, my alarm clock just went off. Hayden's got a counseling appointment this week, and they said they're going to come up with a plan for him, and we're going to discuss that in detail. But from the gist that I'm getting from it sounds like it's going to be kind of more like we were doing already. The major maintenances, the starting over every day, and then positive reinforcement. Lots of positive reinforcement, lots of looking for opportunities to praise him when he's doing the right thing. Those kinds of things. That
Hayden,
still doesn't change though.
yeah,
The need to figure out what to do when he actually should be getting a negative consequence and not a positive consequence.
yeah, Hayden, man, talk to me, buddy. Just seriously, be real. Why do you keep doing things you're not supposed to? Just why?
Really, buddy, just say it out loud. Go ahead, be nice and loud so John can hear you, bud.
Louder.
Because I usually like don't think it's like that.
The only thing I heard was he doesn't think. Is that what I got?
We usually something that like you shouldn't really be getting that about.
He said because he doesn't think it's that big of a deal, or we shouldn't be getting mad about it.
Okay, so now my next question, Hayden, is why do you think that about them when these two have been around way longer? I guess I could ask it a different way. What makes you think that what they're doing isn't for your own good and they're only doing it to harm you?
What makes you think that we're not doing it for your own good and that we're just trying to harm you? It just seems that way.
Okay, so your answer is it seems that way. So are you saying that there is a chance that you're wrong?
He said, are you saying that there's a chance that you're wrong? Maybe.
Well, I'll solve it for you. You're wrong. And that might sound harsh, but sometimes the truth is harsh when you don't want to hear it. These two are trying to set you up for success, which is why they are constantly trying to find ways that will help you grow into a real man and not some irresponsible adult that can't survive once he moves and leaves the house. This is what boundaries are. This is what they're doing. They're setting boundaries for you for your own good. If, hey, Lonnie and Jamie, if I didn't believe that, would I say it?
No,
No.
Would I correct you if I thought you guys were being too harsh on him?
definitely.
See, Hayden, your perception is one way, in reality in this situation is different. And let's say that their motto and their whole motive was to make it hard on you. You're still doing things illegally. So it doesn't matter their motivation. You're still making the wrong choices. You need to think higher of yourself, dude. Respect yourself. Do the right thing. Start growing into a real man. I
Yep,
know
I
you
mean,
got the
and John-
brains.
He sure does. And John, I mean, Hayden, I want you to tell John what you both have already heard from me in the past. What do I tell you and Tristan all the time when you think that my standards or Uncle Lonnie's standards are too high? What do we tell you? That's right. Raise your standards and your expectations of yourself then.
That's right.
Because what we expect from you is not too much. It's completely within your capability and you can achieve it. So you just need to look at yourself in a different way and say, hey, you know what? They're absolutely right. I can do this and I'm going to start doing it and I'm going to make the change because, bud, this week we know. So you got caught for smoking. You had a consequence for that. And then not 24 hours later, you decided that consequence, you weren't going to follow that consequence and you were going to completely disobey us. And now you put us in a position where we have to further discipline you even more. Does any of that sound like it's just where Uncle Lonnie and I are trying to make your life miserable? Or does it sound like Hayden's trying to make his own life miserable? Huh? Yeah, it sounds like you are punishing yourself, bud, which why? I don't understand.
Which is why I say all the time, when everyone else feels like I'm being too harsh, when you say to me, well, I don't think that you should do this or do that or so on and so forth. And I look at you and I say, I don't care about your feelings. I don't care that you think that it's wrong. I have explained to you many ways and every single way possible that your actions are the catalyst of me making the decisions that I make to teach you the lesson. And if you don't like it, change your actions. I don't care. I really don't.
And you know what, buddy? That's not wrong in the sense that Uncle Lonnie is saying it in. It's not wrong in the way that he feels that way because we can't possibly parent effectively and care as much as you do about these things that you want to do at the same time because those things that you care about right now you think are what is best for you, but it's not, bud. That's what John was trying to say earlier too. What it's kind of like almost basically saying, Hayden, what makes you think that you know better than we do? Because you really don't, right? We've been there. We are your parents. We are the adults here. And we really value your opinion, your thoughts, what makes you happy until you make it so that we can't anymore in order to parent you effectively. Does that make sense?
Especially when you verbally say flat out, I don't care about other people in this house. I don't care about the happiness, the comfortability, or anything of anyone else. I am concerned with myself.
Yeah, and you have said that. So
And
John,
when you talk like that, bro, you can't expect to be treated like the golden child to compensate for the fact that you come from the product of two parents that do not do what we do for you and expect us to just keep doing it
Mhm.
because it must be our job
Hey,
or it must be something that someone better do or you're not going to be happy about
Yeah.
that.
I have a couple of things to jump in here with you guys really quick. I hope this helps you, Hayden. First of all, I just released this book for husbands, and part of the book says this. Husbands want their wives to act in the way the Bible says, but they don't want to act that way toward the wife. They expect their wives to do everything they're supposed to do, but the husband doesn't act the way he's supposed to do. And that's not the way this thing works. So here's what I want you to think about. You're going to be a man in the very near future at 18 years old, 19, 20. What if you went to work? Let's say that you're working for the fitness gym up there, and your boss says, Hayden, I want you to take this pledge and I want you to wipe down every single weight in this place and get it clean. And you just did it the day before. And your thought is, I don't see what's the big deal. Why do I have to do it now? So you don't do what you're told. What's going to happen?
He's gonna get
That's-
fired.
That's right. They're going to send your butt out the door. Even though you didn't think it was a big deal, your perception, it doesn't matter. Here's what you're told to do. So you go do your job if you want that paycheck. If you disobey and buck the boss, you're going to be looking at McDonald's. And then when they say clean the grill like this, and then you don't think that you should have to do it like that because you think your way is better, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get fired. Do you see how Lonnie and Jamie are actually literally trying to prepare you for life? Because truly, at 14 years old, here's the perfect example. I love it when God drops things in my mind. I was a high school basketball coach back in 1999 and 2000. I had one legitimate point guard. This is a small private school, high school basketball. Listen to me, Hayden. Listen, listen, listen. I'm going to ask you questions when I'm done with this story. So be ready. You're going to have a final exam, and I might send you a Hershey bar if you get the answers right. I don't know. I'll get Lonnie to make you a sandwich. So here's the deal. I had this hot shot point guard, good basketball player, but he didn't like listening to instruction. Okay. I wiped my whole entire clipboard clean after a day of 2 or 3 guys not doing what they're supposed to do. And I said, all right, here's the deal. Everybody's off to a fresh start. The ones who practice the hardest, I don't care what the talent level is, will get to start Thursday night. I turn around not 10 minutes later, I've got 3 guys laying down at half court. We get down to that game. I pulled out my clipboard. I said, here are the starters. Well, that hot shot point guard didn't get to start. He turned around with an attitude. I knew it. So he's mad at me because he's being punished for his actions. We lose that game. He played, but we lost the game because by the time I put those guys in, you got to understand my team. My top 3 guys were really good. My 4th guy was so-so. My 5th guy was 6, 7, 8, 9. No. I'm having to play these guys that hardly ever play. It's spot duty. They go in to give my guys a rest. He got mad. He played. We lost. Then I find out he's thinking about quitting. Now, if you know anything about basketball, the point guard is the one who handles the ball and gets the offense in motion. Without a point guard, you can struggle big time, which we did. We're getting ready to play a team that beat us the year before by 61 points. I was not the coach, by the way. He said he had a strained muscle pull. He couldn't play. We go up there and kick their tails. That was a pretty intense coach. Okay, so here's the point. He calls me one day and he said, Coach, I'm thinking about quitting. I said, okay. I said, I don't want you to, but if you quit, we're going to be fine. But I don't want you to quit. And he starts telling me things like this. Now, I don't remember the exact wording. He didn't like the way I ran the team. He didn't like the play calls. He didn't like this. He didn't like this. I said, let me tell you something. It's not your job to decide if my decisions are the right ones. It's your job to do what I say. And he stopped and said, you're right. I said, dude, I am not going to be perfect. Just like Lonnie and Jamie are not going to be perfect. But what my goal is to do everything I can in this human power possible to give my basketball team the best chance to win the game. And when I told him I didn't want him to quit, but if you quit, so be it. I'm not going to cry, but I do want you on this team. And it's your job to not question everything I say. Your job is just to do it. Zip it shut. Do your job. And that's it. And he said, you're right. We get to the next practice. Guess who shows up? My little point guard, who all of a sudden, Hayden, decided to listen to me. Follow what I'm about to tell you. When I took over that job, somebody told me, oh, just so you know, his name was Mike Kuzma. He said, Kuzma runs the coach. The coach doesn't run Kuzma. I said, with an attitude, I said, not this coach. And see, you know why they didn't want to listen to me initially? Because they came from homes that were difficult. They'd been in trouble. They had people abandon them. They had people turn away from them. They were on drugs. They didn't have to listen to this new guy who comes in with a very confident and darn near cocky attitude, because my way is, or the highway, when I'm in authority. This Mike Kuzma shows up and decided for the first time in his career at this high school playing basketball, he was actually going to listen to the coach. Now, what happened? The next 6 or 7 games, I'm not joking, he averaged 26 points per game, and I brought him off the bench. And put your seatbelt on, pal. We won a state title in Christian schools because he listened to me. He respected me, did what I said, because I said, I am not perfect. I'm not going to make the best play call every single time. I'm not going to call the best defense every time. I might call a timeout in the wrong spot, but I'm giving my darndest for you guys, giving everything I have to the best of my ability. It's your job to listen and do what you're told. And we go on to win a state championship. Now, that team in the previous 3 years had won 1 game total. 1 game. What was the difference? I demanded respect. My heart was with this team to do the best thing for them, even if it meant sitting down the starters. Now, let me tell you a follow-up story, and I'm going to stop and get your thoughts, Hayden. I had a dad come to me after we lost that game when I set him down. He said, Coach, I don't like to stick my nose where it doesn't belong, but you might want to put your starters in a little bit sooner than that. And I looked at him and I said, oh, I appreciate your opinion, but sometimes teaching a lesson is more important than what the scoreboard says. And he backed up and he said, you're exactly right. So then we go back to play that school again. And I said, guys, number whatever, had 25 points the last time we played him. Who wants to guard him? I had my senior lift his hand and say, Coach, I'll take him. I grabbed him by the jersey, yanked him, got in his face, and I said, don't let him score. And I shoved him backwards. And I said, this guy had 23 points. Who wants him? Kuzma says, Coach, I'll take him. I grabbed his jersey. I said, don't let him score. And I shoved him backwards. Those 2 guys combined for a total of 8 points when they combined for a total of 48 the game before. and we blew them off the court. What's the moral to the story? Respect those who have your best interest at heart. Do what they say, even if you disagree, so you can grow and you can be victorious in this thing we call life. Otherwise, if you continue to do what you want and act rebellious, you're going to struggle your entire life. It's not going to work out well for you. Now, Hayden, talk to me. I feel like I just coached a basketball game. Talk to me, Hayden. You want to go in the
What'd
game
you
and
get
guard
out of
these
what-
guys or not? Tell me what you got out of it.
And the one guy, like the one like
Point guard.
basketball guy, he was like, what was the word?
I'm really
What?
having a hard time hearing him.
Well, he said a whole lot of that guy,
Okay,
he
well,
hasn't said anything to
Okay.
a court yet.
all right. Come on, Hayden. I need you, buddy.
Be loud and say, what did you get out of his story? Is what he's asking you, bud. So what's he talking about? What's the lesson he's trying to teach you by sharing that story with you?
He don't know.
Hayden, you've already blown your cover because you've already shown me how smart you are. If you think I don't believe that you got something out of that story, you're going to be incorrect. I know you got something out of that story. I need you to tell me what you got. You're too smart to act like you didn't. See, I don't have to be as patient as they are. Because I know you're a smart kid. So just talk to me, man. Because I've got a follow-up ending to this story that's super cool to me. So, come on, man. I know they didn't stuff a sock in your mouth.
Nope. Did you hear the story?
Yeah.
Then why did he tell you the story? What does the story have to do with what he's been trying to teach you the entire time we've been on the phone today? Because he said to do what you're told. Why is that important, Hayden? Huh? You do what you're told. You do good. Okay. Anything else? Yeah, you win. And how about our roles? Has he been talking about how easy it is, right? How simple life can be if you just simply follow your role, right? And in the story that he was telling, what was John's role? He was the coach. And what was the point guard's role? He was the player. So who tells who what to do in that situation? Okay, and then parent and child. Who is Uncle Lonnie in that story? The coach. And who are you in the story? Okay.
And you know what's so sad for me right now is that every conversation that we have where I'm talking to you and I'm trying to teach you everything, just like John is, and Jamie has to do all the. That's one major reason why you don't progress in life, because she is doing the listening for you, the explaining for you, the teaching for you, the lesson for you, spelling it out for you, and you just lay back and just let someone else do it for you. You don't listen, you don't hear, you don't pay attention, you could care less. John's talking right to you. We can all hear him in this car, and your answer is as it always is. I don't know. And my big question is, do you think smoking weed's gonna help with that? Any person you've ever seen smoke weed, how do they talk? I don't know, bro. It's not helping you
I have
at
an
all.
uncle that
It
was
might
a
make you
marijuana
feel good
smoker,
right
and that
now.
guy's as spacey as they come.
Yeah.
It's true, John, and the thing is that he has to understand is, I know, I get it, okay? I get that in New York State, it's illegal for adults to smoke weed. Okay, fine. Well, first of all, I think that's probably the dumbest idea on the planet. And second of all, which, okay, neither here nor there. That doesn't matter what my opinion is. It is legal for them. But you, buddy, are not an adult, and your brain is developing right now. And if you think that the things you're doing with smoking weed and stuff is not having a consequence in your brain, biologically, physiologically, you are wrong, bud. I'm telling you. I am telling you, it is not good for your body. And that is why we're so insistent on you not doing it, because we know
Yeah.
it's not.
Yep. Well,
And just
see,
because you're friends, it's funny that you respond to us constantly with, it's not funny, bro. Because beyond home, beyond lessons at the house, that is not the highest consequences in the world. You still have to face the world when it's time for you to get out there. And when you get out there, Your Honor, I don't know. It's not going to work.
yeah.
It's not going to work.
Hello, jail cell.
It's not going to work.
Let me tell you something, Hayden, my man. I'm going to end this story with a cap to it, and I'm going to tell you something else. And I promise you, man, I'm telling you this stuff because I actually do care about you, just like they do. That point guard who was defiant, rebellious, my entire team, some of them had been on drugs, horrible home lives. That's why they were at that school. The difference is they grasped on to this man, and it took me halfway through the year to get their attention. But they realized I care about them because I benched their hind ends when they didn't do what they were told. That's when they recognized I care too much about this team to let you continue to loaf in practice and not give me your all. I would rather lose every game with these guys who are practicing their tails off and can't make a shot on a Nerf goal than win with a bunch of lazy, loafing son of a guns who won't listen. Not happening. That Mike Kuzma, halfway through the season, told his teammates, this coach thinks he's a hot shot. He thinks he knows everything, with an attitude much like yours. Once he decided to listen and we had that chat on the phone, the day that we went back to that place and we drilled that team and blew their butts off the court, he come up to me and he said, Coach, this is fun. When we won the state title, he held the door open for me because he was already at the restaurant where we were celebrating. He met me at the door and hugged me and said these words, I've learned a lot from you this year, Coach. You know why he learned? He listened. He began to respect and not question what I was doing, but he knew the heart behind what I was doing. Now I'm going to tell you one more story about a young man that was 2 years younger than you are right now. This happened to be the son of a girl I was married to. She let her son walk all over her. And when she married me, I wouldn't allow it. So instead of growing up, becoming a man, they bailed on me and moved back to another state. And I called her up And I said this, her name was Denise. I said, Denise, let me tell you something. If you do not get a grasp, and his name was Austin, if you do not get a grasp on Austin, you're going to end up bailing him out of jail.
I know that guy.
I said, you're going to end up bailing him out of jail. I cared enough about that kid to tell his mother she was going to have to change. You know what she did with her son? Let him do anything he wanted to. When he was wrong, instead of disciplining him, she made excuses for him instead. He stole something out of my house when they left. It was a gun that was jammed. It wasn't mine, but it was in my house. He went bragging to his friends that he stole a gun. His stepmom calls me and asked me if I had given him a gun. I said, no way. She said, well, he's bragging because he stole the gun out of your house. You know what his mom said? Well, it doesn't shoot. As if that makes it okay to steal the gun. Guess what happened? Guess what happened, Hayden? I checked public records in Ohio when he was 18 years old and his butt was in jail. Because his mama didn't care. His mama let him do anything he wanted to. And anytime there was something wrong that he did, she made excuses for him instead of ripping his hind end like you're getting done with Jamie and Lonnie. The difference is these two care enough about you because they don't want to see you behind bars because you don't respect authority. They're trying to develop you to respect authority. So when you're out in this big bad world that's only going to get tougher, you can handle it. And you can handle it with integrity and like a man instead of the I don't know game, which will not work. Now, you probably hear me getting fired up. You know why? I care too much about you to see you go down that path. And I know these two care that much as well. You got people who care about you, and you're letting it go to waste. You should get the mindset today, Hayden. Let these two people who have this much passion and care about you develop you into a responsible young man. So when your time comes that you're on your own, you can handle it. Because if they do what my ex did, they're setting you up for failure. They're trying to set you up for success. You have got to grasp onto that and learn from these two. That's why God put them in your life so you can learn from them, not rebel against them. That's it. That's my spiel for the day. Got myself a headache.
That makes sense, Hayden? So what do you have to say for yourself with that, bud? What now? What's next? Can you talk a little louder about it?
I want to do better.
You want to do better, okay, good. And so what I would like to know is for the first time in your life, could you please embrace the consequences that you're gonna have for your own actions this week? And not try to be sneaky, not try to, find an extra phone or this or that or whatever the case is. And actually accept your consequences because you want to learn something, Hayden. Can you promise us that? Can you make a commitment to that? Okay.
And I'll have to say right here, out of all the times I've heard this,
Hang on, Lonnie. You're breaking up on me. Try that again. I can't hear anybody. Hello, hello, hello.
Your simple yes to her asking you those questions just on your. How about now,
Lonnie, are you there?
John?
Okay, you're gonna have to start
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear
all.
me?
I can now. You were gone for about a minute and a half. I heard you say, all I have to say is, but, uh, uh, but,
All I have to say is I have heard Jamie coach you, Hayden, from the beginning. Always stepping in, coaching you because you won't speak up, you don't comprehend, you don't listen, and you don't follow through with, I think I want to change. I've heard all of this before. I'm not saying you're lying, and I'm not saying that I don't believe you're capable. I'm saying that I don't believe that you will. And will is different from capability. So I guess the only thing I could say to you is prove me wrong. If I'm so wrong about you, instead of proving me right, which you have done nothing but all this time, I don't know if you've realized it. This is the first time I've said anything to you about this particular subject. You have proved me right since I've come into the picture, and you have done zero. Your score is zero of proving me wrong. Prove me wrong.
yeah,
Hayden, that's not him. That's not Lonnie saying he doesn't believe in you. It's saying that your responses don't sound genuine. And he's been right about that assumption, right? He's been right about that gut feeling that you don't seem like you genuinely want to change. So he's hoping that you're going to prove him wrong this time with that. And you are going to actually take this seriously and want to change, not because we said so, because you want that for yourself, Hayden.
yep, 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 yep.
Because
But
I hope you want it for yourself, because everything that you receive from us or have received all along, it's been given to you. I'm talking about privilege stuff. I'm not talking about the necessities of home, clothes, food, love, all that. I'm talking about the extras. From now on, now we have John on the phone with Jamie here at the same time and you at the same time. I am chosen by God to be the head of this household. And by the head, that means that I have responsibilities that I need to fulfill that is in the best regard for you, not to do with my feelings, not to do with the fact that I dislike you or anything else that you might think or feel. It has to do with I have a job to do, and that is to direct, maintain order in my home, and protect and provide and everything else that God sees righteous in my actions towards my family. And I'm going to tell you right now, just giving you things and spoiling you versus nurturing you. Nurturing you means so much more than just providing the things you need. It also means to give you the means necessary to maintain and to be successful once you leave this home. So therefore, my job is heavy. And I also have to do it in a way to where my wife feels like I'm doing it in the right way or sees that I'm doing it in the right way. Well, I'm telling you right now, you have 3 witnesses to this statement made to you right now. I will always provide for you for the things that you need, and I will always be there for you when you need me. But if you don't show that you care at all, the things that you want, you will not get from me because it takes too much of me from everyone else in the household to give you everything you want. That means myself. That means Jamie. That means Tristan. And all the other responsibilities that I have. And not only that, I have to answer to God when my day comes as to how I did things with you. So if your actions and your attitude and you just not wanting to, play your part and be humble and loving and caring, the things that you want and the things that you come to me for, or you ask Aunt Jamie or whatever, that's outside of what we are supposed to do for you, that we have to do for you, it's not, from this day forward, it's not happening. It is not happening. So there's no sense in going to Aunt Jamie and saying, hey, well, forget what Uncle Lonnie said. Can you do this or can you do that? It is not happening.
Hey, I'm getting really close to having to close down. Hayden, new day, new attitude, baby. Let's go. I'm in agreement with Lonnie. Prove him
Yeah.
wrong. Prove him wrong, dude. I promise you. These two are going to be there for you. Just do the right thing. If they say ride the early bus home, ride the early bus home. Plain and simple. Done deal. You get home, you'll probably get a lot more privileges. Up to you, man. Everything is up to you.
What?
Every bit of it's up to you. Pretty simple. Just do the right thing, man. Let's do it. New day, new attitude. New day, new
Exactly.
attitude. New day,
Up
new attitude.
to this point, he has thought that Tristan, being Jamie's son, has made out way better than him. That's all we ever hear. And in actual fact, it is the exact opposite for two reasons. One, Tristan doesn't ask for anything. Nothing.
Well,
Number one.
yeah, I'll say this though.
Hayden's been given so much to try to find ways to show him that we still love him anyway. That has done you no good.
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm going to interrupt you. The fact that you guys are putting this much energy into that incredibly cool young man is all I need to know. Someone who is called by God to minister the gospel and help relationships and marriages. All I need to know is that you guys are putting all this energy into this young man because you do love him. Otherwise, you'd be throwing up your hands and saying, I quit. You care too much about him. Otherwise, you wouldn't be sitting here. So Hayden, dude, these people care about you. That should be something you cherish, my man. Don't blow it. Don't waste it. When you got somebody that cares about you like these two do, you need to give them a hug, say thank you, and what can I do to grow up better? So when I'm out of here and I don't have to depend on you anymore, I can be a mature, responsible adult. You've got two people that are trying to get you there. It would be an incredibly wise thing for you to do, to grasp onto it, listen, even when you don't like it, and listen to what they're teaching you. That will help you grow. Brother, that's why they call it growing pains. It's not always easy, but you know who else is still growing? Me. I'm 53 years old. I got you by 39 years, my man. And I'm still growing because I want to be better. That's
He
right.
witnesses that all the time. I am constantly trying to be different, trying to realize how to handle things differently, and I find myself questioning myself sometimes because the way I wanted to do it to begin with is the right way. I mean, you got two parents that don't come through all the time. They're your blood, God-given parents, and they don't come through. And I come through, and Aunt Jamie comes through 10,000% more than they do.
Grab
And
onto it, man.
We get zero respect.
Well, let's
zero.
New day, new attitude. Let's do it. Everybody in? Are we in?
Oh, I'm
Oh,
in.
yeah, absolutely.
Hayden, are we in, buddy? Louder, please.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's do it. I'm serious. You know what they say? It's time to crap or get off the toilet. Let's do it. You guys are going to be a family that's going to be dynamic. You're unique because of the scenario that you're in. Hayden, I'm going to tell you again. I'm going to repeat myself until I pass out from lack of oxygen. You've got it way better than you think with these two because they truly do care. There's no doubt about it. Start to man up, learn to listen, take what they say. And if you don't understand something, respectfully ask them a question. They will answer it if you ask it out of respect. There's one way to answer, one way to ask, and there's one way not to ask. Why do I have to do that? That's not the way you do it. Respect goes a long way, buddy. And you got it in you. I know you do, because when you and I talk, you're a very pleasant young man. You've got a lot of things going for you that you're missing out on because you're not making right decisions. New day, new attitude. If a blind guy can do it, what's your excuse?
That's right. And that's why you're gonna start reading that book when we get home.
Hayden, dude, I'm serious, man. I love you, dude. I really do. I love you, man. I believe in you. I know they believe in you. And I want you to believe in you too.
Yeah.
NDNA, somebody put that on your wall. New day, new attitude.
Thank you so much, John.
Got
I
my,
know you have to go.
yeah, I've not gotten that fired up in a session in a long time.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I love all of you tremendously. So, and I want to see you guys thrive. So, Hayden,
We love
man.
you.
Yeah, thank you, man. And this went long. Don't even have time to make me a sandwich with any of that mustard or whatever it was you said earlier. Pickles, that's what it was. Pickles. Pickles. I got me the pickles.
Yeah.
So, Hayden, I have a question for you really quick.
Yeah.
If your mom had 4 kids and the first 3 kids were named North, East, and South, what's the 4th kid's name? No, it's Hayden. I know that's the terrible joke, but it's funny. Get it? If your mom has 4 kids, I just named 3 of the kids. I didn't name Hayden, so that would be you. I know. It took me about 5 seconds to get it too. All right, guys, I got to roll.
All right.
We'll talk to you later.
You guys have a great day. Hayden, new day, new attitude, buddy. Talk to you all later.
All right.
See ya.